Hello, YouTube. This is K2 Karama, and this is the Philosopher Stonecast. It's a philosophy podcast where we talk about anything and everything. Before I go ahead and start off, I just want to say some quick things about my channel. I have a bunch of December videos to upload, and it's taking me a while to do it because I got a lot going on right now. But they will be up, a month late like they usually are. So I'll put those in, and then we're going to start recording the other unboxing videos soon, whenever the boxes get here, which is usually towards the end of the month for some reason. One more thing, just a quick disclaimer. We're going to be cussing and stuff, so it's not really for kids, this podcast, so whatever. But we're going to keep this podcast a little bit short because it's just me and Ape here. Say hello.
Hey.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo.
So the topic, we usually start off with topics. So the topic for this podcast, for this episode 5 is war.
What is it good for?
Yeah, war never changes.
Yeah.
I just been thinking about war a lot lately. I watched a documentary and some stuff, and I was just thinking about, man, like war is just like so crazy because there's so many people that just like get together and just kill each other.
Well, I mean, it's not even like old school battles anymore. It's like today's wars are more or less, we have superior military stuff. We're going to come in and fuck your shit up for whatever we've perceived that you're doing. Like it's not even like we have to really try. I mean, I get that, when people go into the line of fire and they go and they're doing all the stuff, it's still very dangerous. But like the American military now has so much of an advantage that it's just redonkulous.
Yeah. But I don't know about all that. I'm hearing an echo.
Echo?
Yeah, like for me.
Oh.
Do you have me on speaker?
I have you on. Yeah, I have you on speaker. I'll have to turn it down on my end. All right.
Yeah.
Can you hear your echo now?
Hello. That's good. Yeah, what I was trying to say was that even though they have so much power and stuff, a lot of the war stuff is actually moving more like towards cyber war.
Well, in
Like,
some way.
do you think like the future of war is going to be on the internet?
That would be so cool if it was like, but nobody died in real life.
Yeah, which
Why?
I mean, it happens all the time now with all these hackers and stuff trying to prove a point, and they do make a point because they take down some very important servers.
Yeah, no, I get it, but nobody actually dies in real life.
But nobody gets hurt. Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. I like that. That should be how war is done, I guess. If you're going to call it war at that point.
Or we can just build giant ass Gundams and have a battle royale of all the countries that can build Gundams, and then whoever
good anime. I like that anime so much.
And whoever wins, controls the world for that election or whatever, like for 4 years.
Yeah, that country, like that would be a really bad idea. But, but I guess it wouldn't, because you would have to assume that the most technologically superior country that could build like the most badass Gundam would also be the most educated and therefore probably the most ethical. But that's probably not how it would go.
Yeah,
there'd be some like dirty trading going on, and like the wrong country gets a hold of the right Gundam.
They sabotage each other's Gundams and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would watch the shit out of that,
that'd
but
be awesome.
like it would totally, I guess, work in the sense that it would have
Yeah,
like the entire population enamored with watching Gundams fight for the superiority of like legislation rights,
yeah,
entire world. But like, could you imagine if like Saudi Arabia won that? If they won it once, it would be like total fuckdom.
yeah.
But then again, maybe not
I don't.
because
I don't think they could build a strong enough Gundam in the first place.
even if they could get a hold
That
of
one,
one Gundam,
it's gonna be made of sand.
well, even if they could get a hold of one Gundam, right? One really badass fucking top of the line, the perfect Gundam, with extra features.
You mean the United States Gundam?
Yeah, probably. But here's like what would happen. We would hold this competition to see who could do that. But the fact of the matter is if like that they decided to do some shit that nobody liked except for them and their own people, then we would still have a lot more Gundams that were top of the line, and we could just be like, wow, wow, wow. But
Yeah.
that's just what I'm saying there. But there'd be no reason for civilians to die if all wars were
Yeah.
fought with Gundams in like outer space.
But then, like, we'll be so fucking overpopulated here on Earth.
I don't think war is necessary to control population.
No.
I think education does a far better job.
Mhm.
I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
If a person if a couple
Like
can manage to
even
have,
if we could come up with like drugs and stuff to make people smarter
Mhm.
and just make people take them.
I feel like that would violate some consent
but
issues.
do you think it'll make everything better or worse?
Like if everybody got
With
smarter.
even if people were like born and they were like a little bit mentally retarded, but they take this medicine and it makes them smarter than an average mentally retarded person.
They're like genius
Well, I
retarded.
mean, like, yeah, they're smart, but they're still retard like the the like
The other
mentally.
effects of Down syndrome, but without the mental effect, like
Yeah,
as far as cognitive processing
yeah,
goes.
I guess so, but like, I mean, your brain is still gonna be the same like it is with Down syndrome or a mental disability, but your IQ would be higher.
You'd be better
It's
able to
it's
recognize patterns.
it's hard to explain, but
What if you had a debilitate, like a disease that, or what if you gave someone with Alzheimer's really high IQ, no grasp on reality?
I I couldn't hear you, man. Like it just went all crazy.
Oh, I was saying if you gave someone with Alzheimer's that,
Yeah, I guess, and then they'd like forget what's going on, but they'll
they'd be
still
really smart.
they'll be still be smart.
I don't know what's going on, but all I know is I have a very good feeling about it.
I have, I understand. So I was watching this show. It wasn't a show; it was a video on YouTube. Um, and in the video, they talked about Joan of Arc,
Mhm.
and he was explaining a little bit of the history and stuff, how she came out of nowhere and just controlled an army and fucking kicked some ass and then disappeared. No, she got burned alive.
Yeah,
Um, and
yeah,
she was gone, and I was just thinking about like, man, like that is fucking insane. Like you're just some girl, and then all of a sudden you're just like, I'm gonna fucking kill a shit ton of people, and then I'm gonna die afterwards. And I know I'm gonna die afterwards,
yeah, yeah.
and that's what happened.
People can
I
apparently.
really, I really wish like I could see a picture of how she really looked. I know there's like paintings and stuff, but they're usually like not like
Accurate.
too accurate. Man, it would have been cool to see video of like all that shit that happened in the past.
I mean, yeah.
and like all the wars and stuff. Like I'm pretty sure like there's a lot of stuff that we don't understand about war from the past, like the Great Wars and stuff. Yeah,
Been starting to get a lot better at doing like freaking archaeology, where you like basically retroactively look at how the battle went down by where stuff actually fell, Like if you've
yeah,
got pieces of equipment in this one particular area and they're in the ground and you're like, okay, you have a pretty good idea of how the battle, went
yeah.
based on where bodies lay.
So, what is your thoughts about war?
War. I think
War
it's
never
an utterly
changes.
useless component. I think that if people are educated enough, that disputes over resources could be haggled out in a utilitarian manner, and people would be able to intelligently manage resources for the good of everyone, because people would inherently understand that when everybody has the ability to thrive within some degree and has the ability to eat and keep a full stomach and go about their merry way with their brains that actually work and can critically think, goodness, we would be living in a Star Trek society. We would be like really peaceful and going into outer space and doing shit.
And be immortal.
Yeah, that too, maybe, if we wanted
Yeah.
to. We could stop
I
having
mean,
babies and be
we're
immortal.
getting there now, but like, is it too late? And
I don't
it's
think so.
um like it's funny because it's like we've only been around, like humans only been around for like a short time, and we've done
Well,
so much. Um,
250,000 years, about.
yeah, and compared to how old the Earth is,
Mhm.
so everything is going really fast actually, but it just seems like it's taking forever sometimes.
I don't know.
I
Like,
think I think we probably would have developed a lot faster if certain people in the past didn't die,
yeah.
um, and stuff like that.
I also feel like we would have developed a lot faster if it weren't for,
And like records being lost. Like
well, that
I
and
like what I don't understand is how somebody can go and just burn down so much history like that. Like
because
yeah,
they're trying to control this thing called the truth.
yeah,
Because, as history goes on and people think certain things about certain things and then reality actually shows that they're wrong, like you can go out in reality and look, try and find what they're saying happened, and then you're like, no, that's not what we find. We find something totally different. And then they'll apologize for it for a while, and then they will go and try and destroy, you know the foundation of which people now have a more accurate understanding. Also, they can control the truth, because if you can control the truth, you can feel secure in knowing that you know what you know, and that's just how it tends to work. But I feel like there's only one way. You can't ever know the truth about about everything in general. You can never know everything, but you can, within the things that you do know, the things that you can show, figure out a way to operate in the world, a way to understand the world that's accurate to a point that you can actually develop practical uses for the things you discover. Like, you discover some key component about how, like, the laws of physics work, and that allows you to, like, develop this engine that disregards some fundamental concept of what we think the transfer of energy works like, and then you have a fusion, drive, or a warp core. um it's like, when you actually know something, you can show it. If you can't show it, then you don't actually know it, and you just want other people to think what you think, because it makes you feel secure. And that's a lot of where war comes from, is the feeling of security for a people. you know
yeah, yeah.
People don't
War
realize that
is.
it's not security that gets you where you need to go. It's
So what do you think about like the when we started going to war in Iraq, like right after 9/11?
oh goodness. I think it's the most we should. Okay, people talk about Vietnam like it was a mistake. The Iraq War was like a more of a mistake.
Yeah.
like at least 3 times more a mistake.
Mm.
I mean, I know a lot of people died in Vietnam, but I'm saying like the particular conflict that we've decided to embroider ourselves with in at this point in time and what we've caused because of our involvement is just so much worse than probably what would have happened if we had just stayed the hell out of it. If we had waited for the proper intelligence and then found Osama bin Laden, killed him because he was the mastermind of the fucking attack, you know, and
Yeah.
kill the other little people in Al Qaeda that were in Pakistan the whole time, not fucking, you know,
Yeah.
fucking, you know, Afghanistan or Iraq. You know, it's just, yeah, Saddam was a bad guy, but he's not a whole hell of a lot worse than some of our leaders.
Yeah.
Uh,
I saw his like death video with him hanging,
yeah.
and it was just so weird, like the whole thing, and like they just stood him up and he said some stuff and they said some stuff and then they just like okay, and then they hung him and then he
I've
died.
always wondered what makes people think that the killing of one man can stop a political faction.
I think killing somebody important does huge damage to anything, even the world, depending on the person.
I mean, sure, if you're going to do it, try him for like crimes against humanity and put him away. But when you kill somebody, it creates a sense of martyrdom for the people who supported him.
Yeah.
You know,
Man, just like imagine how like it was when Hitler was like, you know, and they killed people, like how did the other people feel, you know? Like it was like that much an importance to them that they followed this crazy guy, you know.
yeah. And
And
I
he,
mean, we didn't kill him. I mean, he killed himself, but
yeah.
you
I don't
know,
think he's alive. He's in outer space, you know, doing stuff.
sure, yeah, up there with Elvis and Kurt Cobain and
And
everyone else who
Michael
died.
Jackson and you know, um,
Abraham Lincoln
Abraham Lincoln.
and Gandhi
Gandhi. Yeah.
and freaking
Oh.
Christopher Lee
Yeah.
dressed up as Saruman from Lord of the Rings because that's who he became when he died.
Zach Wild.
Yeah, exactly.
He's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. It's Dimebag who's
Yeah. He goes and hangs out with him sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah, I think like
I gotta wake up. Hold on, I gotta go wake up Steph.
Okay.
Just real quick.
So I'm just gonna sit here in silence and awkward into the camera. It's all right, people. Like he, you know, we have lives and stuff to do, so I can hear you. Let me mute them. Thank you guys. I see that you guys there's some viewers in here, and I just want to say thank you for joining us. If you weren't here from the beginning, basically this is a podcast about philosophy where we just talk about anything really, just go with the flow. But the topic we usually start off is a topic at the beginning of the podcast, and the topic for this one is war and It's pretty much just us hanging out today because usually we have more people, but it's just me and him, and yeah, that's it. I'm waiting for him to come back, so I'm gonna take a little break and then we'll get back into it. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Have you guys seen Star Wars yet? It's a good movie. You should watch it. Where is this guy? Wish I could play some music or something while we wait, but I don't really have anything.
I'm back. From outer space. I just walked in here to find that sad look upon your face.
Oh, well, thank you for that dead air time there. So we had one viewer in here, and then as soon as you came in, I mean, we stopped. It was like, oh, and he's gone. So I just started playing some music. Let's keep going, man. I don't want this to drag out.
The shizzle.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna share the screen. I was planning on showing you something. Oh, this video. Let me close this chat here. Okay. Screen share.
Screen Bono.
Okay.
Wow, that's a lot of
Yeah. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna play the video, but I want you to be quiet. All right.
All right. I'll be quiet.
War.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
Here.
You would carpet bomb where ISIS is. We will carpet bomb them into oblivion. I don't know if sand can glow in the dark, but we're going to find out.
Oh shit. Sorry.
War.
Go back
To oblivion.
Sorry about that.
Does that mean leveling the ISIS capital of Raqqa in Syria, where there are hundreds of thousands of civilians?
What it means is using overwhelming air power to utterly and completely destroy ISIS.
You are okay with the deaths of thousands of innocent children and civilians. It's like, you got it.
Hey, dude. On the topic of war, pretty much. Have you seen the thing about the like freaking militia people who have taken over that federal building in Oregon?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay. I guess I can screen share, can't I?
Yeah, show me what's going on there.
All right. The shizzle.
Just make sure there's no porn on the screen when you.
There's not going to be any porn on the
I
screen.
mean, I know you like to have like Goatsy as your background, but
Yeah. No, my background like right now is
hey, that's me.
2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh, yeah.
There's that box again.
Yeah. What's going on with that?
Hide.
Did you put an entire screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does that box happen?
I have no clue.
And it doesn't go away.
Well, send the link to me and then I'll screen share it.
No, but the box doesn't go away.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Send the link to me and I'll screen share it.
Okay. I don't understand this box though.
I don't either. That's why you need to send me the link.
I know, but it's like, why? Why is there box?
It's because it's not pizza.
You're correct.
Yeah. It is not pizza.
All right, let's see if I can find it. Oh, I found a. Let's see, I'll send this to. It'll be over Facebook.
Facebook.
This is a good thing for war, but also I want to find the damn. It'll be on my timeline, or not my timeline, my feed. I just got to go down far enough.
Okay, how do I? Oh,
okay. 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 Amon Bundy and his group of armed people is the people who took over this building, but there's like 150 of them, and they're calling other people to like join them. Okay. I'll send you this one.
This one's just a picture.
Yeah, that's a picture there. Send this. This is also a picture. It's describing what's going on with it. Let's see if I can find some video.
Did you send it?
Yeah.
There it goes. What is this nonsense?
Okay. Here's an article. This will be better.
Okay. Are you gonna read this? Because I'm not gonna read this.
Oh yeah, the article? Yeah, I can read it. Just put it on the screen share.
Okay.
Armed groups leader in federal building. We will be here as long as it takes, they say.
Okay. Let me
Yeah, there's a video.
yeah, hold on. I just need a screen share here.
Why is the box? Don't understand you Google Hangouts. Why do you make a box that appears that doesn't go away whenever I close you out?
It's because it's not a pizza. All right, be quiet.
Okay.
And staying put. A group of protesters broke into an unoccupied building at an Oregon federal wildlife refuge Saturday. They claim to be taking a stand against the federal government's control and use of the land. The armed occupation broke off from a peaceful rally earlier in the day to support Dwight and Stephen Hammond. They're a father-son ranching duo expected to report to prison Monday.
It isn't my decision, obviously. It's a sentence.
Hammond and his son were convicted of arson, setting at least 130 acres of federal land on fire. The Hammonds maintain it was a controlled blaze that accidentally got out of hand. Prosecutors, however, argue the flames were meant to cover up poaching.
It's sort of frightening when there's people making threats and people touting guns.
People are afraid.
Among the armed protesters, the son of Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy. He was at the center of a similar standoff with the federal government last year over grazing fees.
This is not a time to stand down. It is a time to stand up.
The younger Bundy called on militia groups to descend on Harney County and demand the government restore, quote, the people's constitutional rights, part of a vague and vocal anti-government message.
The people have been abused long enough, really. Their lands and their resources have been taken from them to the point where it's putting them literally in poverty.
The Hammonds, however, are distancing themselves from this latest face-off. Their attorney, communicating in a short but clear statement to the county sheriff's office, says neither Ammon Bundy nor anyone within this group or organization speak for the Hammond family. Those armed protesters, however, say their demonstration is peaceful, but if provoked, they will defend themselves.
All right, let's take you to Oregon now. Armed protesters.
Yeah, man. So what exactly? They're just trying to get back at the government, or?
Well, there's a little more to it than just that. Like,
yep.
It's force.
I mean, I think it was kind of funny how the reporter was like saying like the statements he was saying was like vaguely, anti, government or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what he was talking about, the guy was that had a lot to do about the government, the Constitution and stuff. So.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find what the other side of what's going on here. They're claiming that they're not terrorists. They said they have no intentions of using force upon anyone. They say if force is used against them, they defend themselves. Okay.
Yep.
No. When asked what it would take for the protesters to leave, Bundy did not offer specifics. He said, and those with him are prepared to stay put for days or weeks or as long as necessary. We are using the wildlife refuge as a place for individuals across the United States to come and assist in helping the people of Harney County claim back their lands and resources. The people will need to be able to use the land and resources without fear as free men and women. We know it will take some time. He did not explicitly call on authorities to commute the prison sentences for the Hammonds, but he said their case illustrates officials' abuse of power. Now that people such as the Hammonds are taking a stand and not selling their ranches, they are being prosecuted in their own courts as terrorists and putting them in prison for 5 years. He said the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge has been taken over, has taken over the space of 100 ranches since the early 1900s. They are continuing to expand the refuge at the expense of the ranchers and miners. Now, here's what the issue is he's talking about not just ranchers, but miners. Both agriculture in that sense and mining both do horrible damage to the environment. And this is me talking here. I'm not reading the article anymore.
Yeah.
Like what he's talking about is these are nationally protected parks, basically of untouched nature. Now, that should be how they stay. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but agriculture is causing a lot of our issue as far as climate change goes. And I know it's to feed a growing population, but we have enough food. You know, we just charge the wrong prices for it. We make it difficult for people to get. So it's they're misguided, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you look at what the right wing wants at this time, they would take those lands and, you know, pretty much auction them off to the highest bidder. And that's just bad for us and the world.
Yeah. So did you see this?
What? Hold on.
It's on the screen.
Yeah, and there's a problem with it.
What?
Okay, I've seen that, and also how people are comparing it to 9/11.
Yeah, but I mean, I was talking about this specifically. Like,
Oh yeah, I've seen
there was a fire, but like I never found out how it got started or.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the specifics on that. I do know that the fire itself, though, was burning on the outer manifold of the building. So, for one, it's not likely to be structurally unsound. Could probably still be repaired.
Yeah.
And for two, for the conspiracy theorist people out there who want to compare this to what happened with the World Trade Centers, 100-ton jet didn't crash into the side of it.
I mean, dude. Are you still there?
What? Yeah, I'm still here.
Nothing. I don't know what to think about the whole 9/11 stuff, because
I
know that a lot of people died, and
mm-hmm.
2 buildings got destroyed. No, was it 3? I don't know. It was a lot of destruction.
It was more than 2, and it was also part of the Pentagon, and it, you know, there was also another plane headed for the White House.
Yeah, it's. I know that stuff happened. People died. There was a lot of destruction. But as far as how they happened like that, like, it's a little bit hard to say sometimes. You know.
See, okay, it's like this.
I think the reason people think it was staged and it sounded like demolition will, you know, there could have been a possibility that one of some of the terrorists worked into buildings and planted bombs on every level, and then the plane came and, you know, destroyed everything and just set it all off. You know.
Yeah, but why add the plane if the bombs could have done the job?
Just, you know, I don't know. I don't really know. Just because.
I mean, yeah, but that's a lot of just because.
Just because. I don't know. I mean, that's just my hypothetical thinking, I guess. It's just, you know, it's not like I'm saying this is what happened. I'm saying, like,
I know
that could have been the case.
But my thing is, like,
instead of saying that, you know, the government did it or some crazy conspiracy theory like that.
See, I don't think that the government particularly orchestrated that attack. I think it was orchestrated.
I know that the government knew about the attack.
Oh yeah,
days before it happened.
Well, they knew that something was going to happen, but I think the powers that were at the time, which was Cheney and Bush, wanted something to happen as an excuse. You have to remember that the CIA pretty much trained up the people who did 9/11. So, you know, or gave the know-how to the people that trained up the Al-Qaeda that did it, you know.
Yeah.
And the same thing with ISIS. I mean, pretty much Bush and Cheney created ISIS, and freaking Al Qaeda was created by the previous presidents, not necessarily Clinton, but Bush Senior. And it's just, yeah, there was an inkling, and I think that where the conspiracy comes in not necessarily in the particularities of the attack itself, but in what the powers that be in our country knew they could gain by that attack happening, by creating the pressures in areas like that have resources, and then making them blame us to where they attack us. It gives us an excuse to go and get those resources.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it is the people who argue against it and try and say that the building was demolished, we know the science behind why it happened. We also know that if you've got a fire going and there's heat and there's jet fuel involved and there's a huge impact and there's all of this torment that goes on with the building, what people don't realize, jet fuel on its own will not melt a steel beam, but combined with everything else burning in there and all of the weight on top of what's burning, like all of the weight on top of that steel beam while it's heating,
it's still going to be squishy, and it's going to come over. Yeah.
And it's gonna fucking fall.
Yeah. But the thing is, it really does look like a demolition thing, and there's a lot of witnesses that say they've heard tiny explosions go all the way down the levels.
Yeah, but
I
have
think
to understand that, like, eyewitness accounts are some of the most unreliable things.
I think some of I think it's like, man, I don't even know how to put it in words. Like, I think it could have, it was possible that it came down that way, but I don't think it was us,
Yeah.
I think, it was part of the plan that they did.
It just doesn't make sense to me why the planes.
I guess for honor, I don't know.
I mean, they could have just as well have, blown themselves up inside the building and, claim the honor that way too.
Yeah, but I guess it would have been cooler to do it with more lives.
Yeah, but like, how many people are on a jet plane versus how many people are in the building?
I have no clue, man.
And plus, why would they attack all those other areas where there clearly weren't explosives planted?
I think they put explosives all over the place, even on themselves.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to indicate that, but I think it pretty much went down how we saw it go down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily that
I believe that too. I mean, but just the way they fell and stuff, it's it's a little bit weird.
I can give you a link to several videos that go through debunking exactly the claims that conspiracy theorists make concerning this, and also explain why the building fell the way it fell. And these are structural engineers and stuff that are explaining this. And they're not paid by anybody. They're freaking YouTube people who just are tired of the conspiracy theories because they aren't scientifically based. So, I mean, there's a greater sense to understanding what's going on in the world than just thinking that there's all of this backwater, shadow, murky kind of business going on. While there may be some, the greater impact of things comes from what's right out in the open.
Mostly because nobody can hide anything anymore.
Yeah.
It's all out in the open. Everybody has a phone, everybody has a camera, everybody's listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think there is a little bit of some dark things that we don't know about. That's hitting really well. That just because it's a possibility that something like that's going on.
See, I think that the stuff that's hidden from us is usually hidden from us due to the amount of money and or the amount of moral bankruptcy apparent in the action.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I feel like obviously the government has done things that the citizens would find questionable if they knew about at the time. Like some of the information we're finding out about how Kennedy was assassinated is a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
I
think as far as Kennedy, I think there was 2 shooters.
I think there was just one, but
I think there was 2 and they shot at the same time.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But like, to me, that doesn't matter as much as the CIA files that talk about what Lee Harvey Oswald actually knew.
Yeah. He's that's crazy. That's another person that, like, if he would have survived, he probably would have changed the world.
I mean, maybe not by being like a Kennedy?
Yeah.
He would have probably stopped this whole Republican regime that exists now. He may not have stopped the conservative movement, but the political regime that exists now as the Republican Party, he probably would have stopped. He probably would have been the FDR we needed, you know, or the one that we deserved anyways. The Batman references, you know, but he would have been the one we deserved. And that's one of the reasons I'm scared with Bernie Sanders, is because while I think it's perfectly possible, and actually very likely, that he's going to win, I also think to myself, he's saying the same sorts of things that, you know, Kennedy said. And he's saying the same sorts of things that FDR said. But FDR wasn't assassinated, but FDR changed everything very in the progress, like, towards a good direction and helping out everybody in the country. FDR changed things to make it work for us. And after a while of that, is it a Han Solo?
Yeah.
But after a while of that, it's like the people who were making decisions about money wanted to see if they could slowly start to erode those laws that were put in place. And then it started to fuck everybody over again, like it did before, but this time a lot more, because there's a lot more technology and a lot more wealth involved. So it's like, fuck, we are facing this political monster, this machine, this diabolical Wall Street, you know, fascism, if you will.
Yeah.
That comes from the Koch. You want to talk about a real world conspiracy? The Koch brothers. Like, shit we can actually prove is usually far stranger than the fiction that we come up with.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched the documentary Exposed TV or whatever for the Koch brothers?
Who are the Koch brothers?
Okay.
Are they the guys that no, there was one guy that invented the Coke, right? Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that would have been a long time ago. Coca-Cola's been around for quite a while. Now, this is spelled Koch, K-O-C-H. Charles and what's his other? There's 2 of them, but let's see. The Koch brothers.
What'd they do?
All right, I'm going to send you a link to this video.
Is it a long video?
It is a long video.
I don't want to do a long video.
But it's like really fucking good.
I'm pretty sure it is. But I don't want to do it on the podcast.
I know.
I
know you don't.
We can I'll watch it after.
Yeah, we'll watch it after.
But just tell me what they did.
Okay. They basically take their huge, vast resources that come from the oil industry and several other industries, including war, and use it to put in politicians in key places. And they basically were the head front for the Citizens United versus the FEC bill that allowed basically corporations to donate unlimited money to political campaigns to basically buy political seats. What they've also done is inject people into school boards throughout the country, and especially in key places where a lot of our textbooks are printed. And what they're attempting to do is put in these radical people who just kind of want to fuck up exactly how we teach things so that people are less educated. And I'm not sure if the Koch brothers themselves are like diehard Christians, but the people they choose for the school board positions are like diehard creationists who want to fuck up how we teach history and science. So they fuck that up. They fuck up how the textbooks are printed because the school board has to approve the textbooks. And then the textbooks are printed and they're sent throughout the country. And then all of a sudden it fucks up how people are taught. The education levels drop so that people forget their workers' rights. You no longer have civics classes. And guess what? All of a sudden, it's okay to lower the wage. You know, it's okay to, you know, charge people exorbitant amounts for things that they normally wouldn't have bought before, but are kind of forced to buy now. It's a way to kind of create slavery, but through classism instead of racism.
Yeah. That's one thing that pisses me off about people nowadays is why do you choose to be so not smart? Why don't you want to learn some stuff? Like a lot of people now growing up, especially teenagers, they don't really care about school and learning and stuff. They just rather just do whatever they want to do and play on their phones or, you know, sleep with this person, do all that and whatever.
One thing if they just didn't care about like learning shit in school or whatever, but they don't care about learning in general, and they also really don't care about what's going on around them.
And also like, and it could be older people too. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it just seems like it's a lazy way to think. Like it's just being. It seems like really lazy. Like why don't you want to know these things and you know learn about something that interests you or something like that? You know.
Well, it's not so much that I think that people don't want to. I think it's just beaten out of them. You know, in Texas particularly, where a lot of our textbooks come from, most of the country's textbooks, anyways. Whenever they go through and they attack the basis of the Board of Education itself, like what they're going to teach as curriculum for everything, they specifically wanted to move away from teaching students the ability to critically think for fear that it might offend their parents' preconceived beliefs about the world and cause students to rebel against their parents. So essentially what they're saying is we'd rather have people's parents teach them nonsense about the world they live and not give them a chance to do this other stuff to where we can basically beat the curiosity out of them. So I think that where people like you and I come across, and more liberal people and people who wanted to learn and kept doing so despite what they may have done in school. You know, there's people like us and then there's people like them, and I hate to divide it into us and them, but that's kind of how it is.
Yeah, and like also like they don't understand that not being smart about certain things, like it's really easy for you to get tricked into, you know, stuff and not pay attention. Like literally, dude, most of my sales is me teaching people like, you don't know anything about this and I'm really smart, so just get this. And they're like, okay. They give me their social security numbers and they sign their name on the paper, and then they're in a contract for 2 years. And that doesn't really make me feel good because I'm just like taking advantage of people, you know?
Dude, I used to call over the phone and just talk to people and try and sell them internet.
But that's what you have to do to be successful in sales. That's the only way.
I was not successful in sales.
I was doing pretty good. I was making like 20 to 30 sales a month.
See, like for me, I would make like maybe 3 a week, and like it's just this is calling people too. It's not like I actually had to go to anybody's house. You know, I was just calling people and talking to them, trying to get them by internet, and I just couldn't lie to them. I was like, that's what I knew. If I was going to be like good at selling them this, I would have to lie about the product, or if I didn't lie about it, not really tell the truth.
Yeah.
And that didn't feel good. So like towards the end of it, I just started getting fed up, both with what I was trying to sell these people and also with the company I was working for, because they were doing some shady crap, and they like removed our commission like from like $20 to sell down to like 25 cents to sell. So it was fucked up. And he gave like this, the site director gave like this weird analogy of trying to compare us to like people who work at McDonald's and make burgers, as if the product that we're selling them, we're not making it right. You know, I'm like, no, the product is what the product is. In this case, in this analogy, the internet would be a McDouble from McDonald's. And he's saying we're making the McDouble wrong. No, the McDouble's already made. We're having to talk people into getting the McDouble.
Yeah. And a lot of people, actually, a lot of people would eat a McDouble. Because, you know, you gotta eat and you got to survive.
But if it's really sucky McDouble every time.
Internet just needs to be free.
It does.
I think
no reason it can't
there'd be way more people connected, and the right people would connect with each other and make a huge change in the world. The internet really changed everything. That's that after that happened, it wasn't no longer we're playing with sticks and stones anymore.
Now we're playing with this ethereal sort of information.
Yep.
Dude, did you see that thing? It was a video I shared that showed you how to like cut up an old CD case and turn it, like, and use your smartphone to like project a 3D hologram into it.
No, I didn't.
That's pretty cool. This has nothing to do with the topic, but it was really cool.
Have you done that?
Not yet. I want to so bad. It has 4 different images on your phone, right on like each side of where you set the freaking upside down pyramid looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it projects, it shines the images, right? Yeah. And creates this fucking 3D hologram floating in space inside the damn CD case.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So what do you think about just trying to keep this going? What do you think about like there's this stuff going on in Syria, right?
Yeah.
Bombing and stuff. What do you think the war, or what kind of turn that you think the war is going to take now?
I think with as much as Russia has been bombing the shit out of Syria, and how many, like we have, you know, seriously diminished ISIS's numbers. Like there's no doubt about that. But as many civilians as have been killed in this whole process, and with the way that the world is treating people from that area, and even some people who they mistake as people from that area.
Yeah, my God, dude, like that's so dumb. Like, how dumb can you be to be like that? Like, it's,
I don't know. It's xenophobia. It's what it is.
Like, I'm like, man.
But no, like with that comes repercussions, because the people who survive, the children who survive, how do you think they're going to feel when they grow up?
They're going to feel like shit, and they're going to want to have revenge, and then they're going to come together and plot some more terror attacks and fucking
do the same thing again.
Yeah, and they're not successful half the time, especially if they're going to do it in the United States. That's why they're attacking Paris and all those
The
surrounding
goal of
area
ISIS,
there.
and I think this is part of it, and it's been said before, but basically they want to get the world to react to all Muslims as if they're all like that, so that they can get more people to join them, because it's an us versus them thing. If they can get all the Muslims to feel like they're under attack, then all the Muslims will feel like they're under attack and join the ranks of the Daesh. And that's 1.7 billion people all throughout the world. It's a lot of people. They could do some serious stuff. And it's not just that, but Islam is also the fastest growing religion, not because they're converting more people, but because they're having more children. Secular people like me, we only have 1.7 children per family unit, which is actually not a sustainable replacement rate, because one child is equal to a replacement for the mother of the couple. So if you only make 1.7 children per couple or whatever, then you're not effectively replacing both people. So that means that you would necessarily go down. Now, the problem with the argument in saying that works on secular people or atheists like myself or whatever, most of us weren't born to atheist parents, and most of us, were religious at some point and then became not religious. So our numbers still grow steadily, and we're still the fastest as far as conversion rates go. But it's just like, that doesn't change the fact that there's still going to be more indoctrinated Muslims. So it can be scary. I can see why people are scared. But at the same time, there's no reason to be scared. Most of these people are just like anybody you would meet on the street. They just happen to come from a different culture. And it's when you start alienating people that you turn them into combatants.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it, man.
I mean, that's what's going on, I think.
Yeah. I'm definitely... It's interesting, especially reading about the old stuff, like way back. And like the World War One and the Chinese wars, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. No, like if you look at like the wars that our country's been in, how many of them were actually fought for our freedom, quote unquote? Hi there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you really think about it, probably maybe you could argue that World War II could have been about our freedom, because Hitler would have just kept on going. But
Come on, Daddy.
I mean, it's every war since then, and a lot of the wars before that one, had nothing to do with anybody's civil liberties or protecting anyone from anything. It had to do with money, resources of some kind.
Yeah. I don't think I had enough about war talk. I'm pretty sure I know where we both stand on certain things.
We've seen some shit and some stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
The only thing I want to say is, people, if you're listening or watching, please learn about something. History is really awesome.
I would say if you're going to learn about anything, like you can learn about something for sure. Yeah, go learn about something you like. But I think everyone should learn about current events, and everyone should learn about ethics, and every single person should learn about philosophy and how to critically think, and how does science, like, really, I mean, you know how annoying it is being on the internet and talking with people who don't know how to science and they think science is like wrong somehow. Like, it's like you don't understand what science is. What science is about. The whole point of science is to figure out what's actually going on so that we can use that. Because if it wasn't actually going on, how could we use it?
Yeah. And they're the people that are like, science is not pizza.
Yeah, science. They're like, science is not pizza. I'm like, what are you talking about? Obviously, pizza and science are equivalent. You have to know science to pizza, and without pizza, there could be no science.
Yeah, because something about pi and the square root and whatever.
I don't know what square root has to do with it.
So I guess that was fun, man. Like, I think we should draw a close here. I really like pizza.
I mean, it is good. I like fried chicken.
Fried chicken is good too.
Like, not like the bone in it, but just like the strips,
I like cheese sticks. Like cheese sticks.
Oh yeah,
those are really good.
I got a deep fryer for Christmas.
I guess I could tell since you kept picking fried chicken.
Yeah.
You should fry some cheese.
I should.
Some mozzarella or something.
Get a cheese stick and roll it in some cornmeal. Fry it
up.
And then eat it. And die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
What can we do to be really American? I don't know. How about we fry cheese?
Fry you can fry Oreo.
Yeah. Wonder what a fried brownie would taste like.
I bet it tastes awesome.
I say that, but up at work we have this like freaking dessert named after the town that bar is in, and it's essentially cheesecake with a little like breading on it, and brownies with breading on it, and you fry it, and then you put it on vanilla ice cream and put powdered sugar on it. Cool. And then you eat it.
That's awesome.
I mean, I guess.
Have you ever had
also diabetes?
Fried green tomatoes?
Yeah, I love that shit.
Those are awesome.
We also make something called a German bologna. It's essentially a piece of bologna that's like as thick as my wiener. Or like, okay, to put that into perspective,
because we all know how thick your wiener is.
No, it's probably not as thick.
Oh, that's how thick it is.
Yeah, that's about how thick the bologna is. My wiener's thicker than that, but I was exaggerating.
Okay. Just, a lot of people don't have thick wieners.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I guess mine's just average. I wish I had diphalia or something, like where I had two perfectly functioning wieners. It would be cool.
One's black and one's white.
Yeah, together in perfect harmony.
What if you did, but it was just like that? Like it was like a black wiener and then like a white wiener, but they're both your wiener.
I'll stick the chocolate and the stink and the vanilla and the pink.
Crazy stuff, man.
I'm funny.
I don't know. I think I'm just tired. Oh, man.
You think you're just tired? It couldn't possibly be that I'm hilarious.
No,
probably not. Frappuccino.
Have you seen Star Wars yet?
Not yet.
Why not?
Still waiting for the theater to not have sold out tickets.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Do you want me to spoil it for you?
No. I mean, I kind of like
I'm
have
gonna
inklings as to what's going on.
I'm
I
gonna
just hope
spoil
Han
it.
Solo doesn't really die. I hope they're lying to me.
He lives forever.
Good.
You know, because the Force
dies,
and
doesn't he?
whatnot.
He dies.
Like a bitch.
So horribly.
He dies like a bitch. I'm just kidding. It's like even if you knew the spoilers, when
It's
you
still
go
worth it.
watch it, yeah, when you go watch it, like it doesn't even matter, dude. Like it was amazing. He did a really good job.
So we don't get to call him Jar Jar.
A lot of people are saying like, oh, it's like the fourth episode, you know, the first one, the fourth one. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's fucking Star Wars. That's what Star Wars is.
Because like A New Hope was arguably the best one.
Yeah.
So if it's like that, then that's good. And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, it may not have been better than the original, but it was definitely better than the prequels, which still made me happy. Because I was like, you know.
It's really good, dude. The new character is really good. The everything, there's a lot of practical effects in it. The locations are awesome. It's Star Wars but metal.
Metal Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like Metal Mario.
Like if somebody did a deathcore or a metalcore cover of a Metallica song.
Yeah.
that's what the new Star Wars is.
It's like we're gonna be really flashy and technical with this.
Yeah. I like it, dude. You're gonna like it. I'm surprised it's not on the internet yet.
That's odd.
You know, I figured it'd be on there already.
It's not on Cody yet?
I don't know. I haven't really checked. I'm gonna check right now. I kind of want to watch it.
Mouse wiener. Mice have wieners too.
Okay.
Black Lives Matter.
So I'm gonna go ahead and end this podcast. I think it was pretty good, except for that break in the middle there. Thank you guys, our one viewer, whoever you are.
Fuck that guy.
Make sure you like and comment the video because we want to know who you are, so we can maybe have you on here.
Yeah.
On this podcast with us.
You could also share the video too and subscribe.
And
like the comments and
click when the ad starts rolling on my channel. Just click on the ad, just so like I can get clicks on this. I'm just kidding.
yeah, you could do that. Also, you can also go and donate at our Patreon page, which has not been set up, and so you can't do it, but we might have one soon.
If you had ever set it up. We're gonna come back again and probably talk about this topic again sometime in the future. But it was cool, just us two, and it worked out a lot better than I thought it was. So, like again, like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff,
and comment on the comments and have arguments and like each other's comments and like our video more and give us both up thumbs and down thumbs too. You know.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll see you guys next time.